we say 3 words that are very important in missions: flexible, flexible, and flexible.
Good morning. It is July 9th, 2017. We are in El Salvador, and this morning we're going to be heading downstairs to go and eat breakfast before we head out. Early risers. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Breakfast is done, and now we're heading out to the church to go meet up with Pastor Kenton and go over some of the orientation stuff. Probably getting ahead of myself, but interesting enough, this building back behind here wasn't here the last time we were out here. This was the building that we kind of ate up inside of here, and then we have a restaurant that's actually opened up over here now. And then while we were here, stored up in this whole section over here, there was all of this playground equipment. It was sitting there for the longest time, and there's been so much progress over here. It's just amazing. And what Pastor Kenton has done for this community, all of this playground equipment finally up and running, and I'm sure it's just been a delight for the kids. We've got all our lumber right here back behind me. This is what we're going to be using to put together the house that we're going to do sometime this week. And then there's the open door church right behind me. So we're all done with service just a few minutes ago, and now they're going to be serving us lunch back in here in the new restaurante.
It's really pretty.
I know, right? You're all fancy.
Here eating lunch with Pastor Kenton Moody. He had a wonderful service today. Today's Sunday.
Here I'm evangelizing Izzy and hoping to get him saved while he's down here in El Salvador. So, Lord willing, sending
Lord
back
willing.
to Pastor Richard, you know, ready to go.
Thank you. stopped at the grocery store to go and get ourselves a couple of provisions, more specifically like water and stuff. So we're going to be heading out and go and evangelize out there on the street. We're going to take advantage of the widows that we brought with us and the coconut, and go out and just talk to the community, let them know that the Open Door Church is there and that they're invited. And then we are going to meet up with Pastor Kenton at his church, I believe. That's what we're gonna do so far. All right, heading out to the bus now. Gonna go meet up with some of the locals and.
The gospel, to really take the gospel where it's supposed to, we have to go outside of the four walls of the church.
No, yo me quedé lavando la ropa en ese panelo porque ya no tenía nada.
I'm sorry, don't touch it, don't touch it. Could you control yourself?
We're on our way out to the villages and we're in the back of a truck.
Ayer se fueron a Zacatecas.
I mean, it is the mode of transportation. Oh, and we're going off road. Here we go.
It's an adventure.
So we're out here in a, I want to say it's a village. They actually have stores and stuff down the road, like down this way here. There's a couple of stores and there's just like small little services, but this area is just remote. And right now they're having a little bit of an outreach here. The church goes through the neighborhood, Buenos Dias, and invites everybody to come out and to join them, lead them to know, let them know where the church is at. What an awesome outreach given by Pastor Kenton Moody and the Open Door Church.
Bueno, les voy a narrar una historia. Una vez yo fui al mercado y compré uvas, pero se acabaron muy rápido. Entonces decidí comprar naranjas. Tenemos a decir el público quién hizo mejor.
Muy bien.
Cuando quiero entrar toco así, así, así. Me limpio los piecitos así, así, así. Y toco al perrito así, así, así. Yo tengo una casita así, así, así. Con una chimenea así, así, así. Y cuando quiero entrar toco así, así, así. Me limpio los piecitos así, así, así. Y toco al perrito así, así, así. Yo tengo una casita así, así, así. Con una chimenea así, así, así. Y cuando quiero entrar toco así, así, así. Me limpio los piecitos así, así, así. Y toco al perrito así, así, así.
How much bigger can the house get? That's awesome.
Y no solo a los niños, porque veo muchos adultos acá. Si ya tienen a Dios en su corazón.
The whole reason why they have this outreach, to reach those that accepted Christ. Awesome. God is good.
Niños, jóvenes, adultos, aquellos que están escuchando estas palabras, aquellos que están con una necesidad.
Whoa! I felt myself leaning towards Colin.
No. I'm getting in here. I'm not doing that again.
You can do it, Izzy. You can do it. You can make it. We were afraid that we were tipping the truck back. Like,
Huh?
Freeway.
Is it?
The worst is past.
I didn't have my ring. I have a rubber ring. So I didn't have my
This is kind of.
fire. I like it.
Not if I turn around.
Remember, our driver has one arm and he's got one eye. And it's a stick shift. Like busier than a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. You ever heard that one?
I heard that one.
There we go. Oh.
That's where Colin almost went down in that turn.
Stopping over here at the local mall to go eat at their new food court. Only 2 people chose not to go to Pollo Campero. Can you guess who they are? It's alright though. It's good food. Having dinner with Pastor Kenton. Done with the meal. Leaving to go get some ice cream now. Got my ice cream on. Yeah, I didn't really branch out as much as I should have being in El Salvador, but I don't ever get pistachio. So this is about as good as it's going to be for now. Thank you to Pastor Kenton for the ice cream.
A populated country in the Americas. We have, I think it's close to 300 people per square kilometer. In Canada, there are 9 people per square kilometer. So a big difference there. People everywhere. And we have 7.2 million people in El Salvador, another 3 million that live in the United States. And our biggest issues here are poverty. The difference between the rich and the poor is one of the top 10 in the world. And then also the gang issues. And some of the young men that were sitting off to the side, the soccer players today are gang members. It's just a part of life here. All of the gang issues came from the United States. It wasn't something that we had already here. It was something that came from there. So I don't think it'll ever change. There's no way of conquering that. There's no way of changing it. And even the church has come to where they sort of work around it rather than to try to be an instrument of change. But El Salvador is a very beautiful country. We have active volcanoes. We're at the foot of an active volcano right now. There's a big mountain up above right behind us. And very hardworking, industrious people. And I was called here. Actually, I was on a trip with Pastor Richard, and when I worked with Convoy of Hope, and they came to see what God was doing here. And I was working with Convoy of Hope at the time as the international director. And God spoke to me and told me if I didn't come back here and work with the children and the youth, who was going to do it? And the answer was no one. And so I felt that was God speaking to me to come back. So I did, and this is my 8th year here, and love it, and feel like God has been able to use me. And some of you knew Elsie, my wife. She was from El Salvador originally. I met her in Missouri, and the Lord decided to take her home over a year and a half ago with cancer, after a short battle with cancer. I feel like God's called me not to invest just my wife or just my time, but to invest my life. So that's why I'm here. And you can see today, and you'll see tomorrow, the kids that were affected, the youth. You can change families, you can change lives one person at a time. And so that's what we're trying to do. When we first came, our goal was to work with the poor, So we started working in squatter communities. The church came and worked with us that very first year, and we were roofing houses, just putting tin on a square and trying to tie it together, and up on the ladders and everything else. It was sort of crazy, but you know what? Still have a family in our church today as a result of that, almost 8 years later. And so even though we moved around, they're still with us, and God used that and tried to make a difference in their lives spiritually, physically, emotionally. A lot of the children have scars. I can point out the children in the church that have been physically or sexually abused. A lot of them would never say anything, but we learn over time, you know, what's going on in their life. And if we have them in school for 5 hours a day, because school is only for 5 hours, that gives us a block of time to invest in their lives. If I go and pick them up for church, then I have that time, you know, to invest in their lives. We have a lot of children and youth that come without their parent, no support whatsoever. We're talking about Jonathan, that little boy, and he's hanging around today. He was at the outreach when he's in the service, sitting by Dan. But they just want love. They want affection, want somebody to hold their hand, want somebody to hug them. So if somebody grabs your hand, you know, don't be surprised, or if they come up and hug you at the school tomorrow, it's all part of it. I think you were on the very first trip, weren't you, Patricia? And you've seen how that's gone over the years. God's been really good. When I first came here, we started working in the streets of particular communities, and I felt that wasn't enough because they would just go back into their houses, and so we built a center of hope. We'd bring the kids to there, and we'd do handicrafts, we gave them food, we'd have a Bible lesson, that type of thing. And then I realized if we got them involved in church, the pastors wouldn't accept it because they might have been children of a prostitute, a gang member, they can't pay tithes, or maybe they're too rowdy in church. So then we decided to plant a church. Planted the Open Door Church 5.5 years ago, just 2 blocks from your hotel, and God has really blessed that as well. When we moved from down there where we're at, the church leaders told me there's no way, we don't want to go, we don't want to take our youth up there, we don't want to take our children, forget it. And I took Elsie up there, and when we drove up to the property before she ever got out of the car, there was a pile of rocks and garbage. That's where the gang members met to fight. And she said, this is the place. This is what God has given us. And I took the leaders up. We did a Jericho march around the place, prayed over it. And what we have today is what God brought out of that. And we've just been following the Lord in that, you know, trying to make that happen. When we got thrown out of 2 water communities, we had a school there, we had a church, we had a feeding program, we built a lot of homes, and we really felt like God wanted us to buy property. I didn't have any money to buy property, didn't have any property. God brought the right property at the right time when we had somebody here from a church. They gave the money to make it happen. We brought families over and began starting the community, the Hosanna community. And then I felt in my spirit, God wanted me to build a school. In fact, when I looked at the property, I went and looked at a clearing where the school is today, and I said, this is where I want the school. Elsie told me, she said, you know, honey, we don't have any money for a school. We don't have any money to build anything. Just letting you know that. And I said, you know what, if God told me to build it, I don't have to worry about the money. He'll supply it. All I have to do is build it. And so we started building by faith, and today we have 4 separate constructions that we've done, all of it paid for, and now we started with 132 students. We have 375 students, kinder 5 through the first year of high school. So God has been wonderful, wonderful to us. And the Center of Hope that's at our church, you saw it says Centro de Esperanza on the other side. We teach computer, English. We have homework reinforcement for all the area schools around. We have a cyber cafe, which is an educational computer center. Then come and print off their homework, do investigations. We teach baking. So they were learning what you had today as part of the baking class. The cooking class. We also teach music and cosmetology, and we have 275 students in that program right now that are learning. 4 days out of the week is for children and youth, and 1 day out of the week is for adults. And you'll see part of that while you're here. And God's given us that to reach out into the community. We started a restaurant, which you guys ate at today, and the idea is not gourmet food, but the idea is to do food for the area. And give people employment and teach people how to cook that you can spin them off into getting their own job. And we're getting ready to open the clinic, which is a dental and medical clinic and a laboratory that will do blood tests, urine tests, feces tests. That's almost a requirement here with all the parasites you have and everything that's going on. So we're really excited about that, to have a clinic here that we can reach out and touch people. There's nothing in our whole area. So while you're here this week, enjoy, take all the pictures you want, ask all the questions you want, build all the friendships, relationships you want. We're gonna have a great time this week. Everybody met Sam today, the guy that was translating.
Yeah.
They're missionary associates with us, doing a great job, speak Spanish fluently. Rosa's his wife. Cassandra is a distant relative of theirs, but she's here for a month. That you're gonna meet Rosa and Whitney tomorrow probably. But I'm so glad to have them here as well. Okay. The bus is gonna be way out through the parking lot over towards the Burger King.